So I want to go into our next segment, which I call crystal ball. So let's have you look into your crystal ball and tell me, what is the impact that the combination of COVID and artificial intelligence, seems like the world has changed in the last few years, the impact COVID and artificial intelligence have had on marketers that we haven't seen yet.
All right, let's see, crystal ball.
Cheers.
The thing we haven't seen yet is, so there's 3 levels of this philosophical approach. And I have to share it with you, even though it might seem abstract, because I want people to understand that the mindset that they're bringing, this is why I wrote the book, the mindset that most people are bringing to this moment right now is the experiences that they've had, the failures, the successes that they've had, the measures that they're confined by, the rules of engagement that they operate within. And that is, this is a Donald Rumsfeld thing, what we know we don't know. And this becomes the guardrails or our comfort zone or our source of decisioning that helps us look at what is happening today. And what ends up happening when you operate with these guardrails is your own subconscious cognitive biases prevent you from actually seeing what's changing. So for example, what I found in my research is that consumers changing in its deepest ways down to values, what people value, what people are looking for in brands, how people are spending their time and who they want to spend their time with. These things are absolutely ground shaking if you look at it with an open mind. If you look at it with, say, sunken cost bias, like we've already gotten this far, or if you see it as, no, this is not something that this can't be true, this has got to be a limited time thing, it's not as big as our research is showing, then you're going to miss these other bigger opportunities. But when you start to see them play out, especially now since we're several years past the onset of COVID-19, that is, we're seeing people delay the idea of marriage or delay whether or not people want to have kids at all, if at all. We're seeing home buying change. We're seeing significant purchases change. We're seeing long-term planning be pulled in. We're seeing the considerations for university and aspirations change. And depending on what market you're in, these are all going to have varying impacts for you. But the crystal ball essentially says you have to be able to look through it with an open mind to appreciate it and see then what you don't know. You don't know. That's where the future lies.
What you don't know is the most futurist thing I've ever heard, which I'm glad that you're the one to say it. It feels credible. It also is one of those things where I'm like, of course you don't know what you don't know. What I think we know, and really this is the center of the question, is like, what's going to change that we haven't seen, is consumer behaviors have changed, and in lots of ways they're never going back. We assume that there was this departure from the office because we all had to build work from home stations, that eventually we would all just settle back in the office. And now I don't care how hard Amazon pushes, everybody's not going back. They'll leave. They'll go find another job. Like, people are more comfortable, and the center of their universe is not as distributed, right? Home is now home base for personal time, for work time, it's entertainment. The idea of the place that we live being the place that we spend the most time, to me, is the biggest change that has happened. And now there's more technology that allows you to automate everything you're doing, the artificial intelligence component. And I think that trend is going to stick around, that we are never going back. And it's not just that people aren't ever going back to the office, but the role that home plays, to me, is the biggest impact on consumers, and therefore something that marketers need to think about.